this is the instructions for part 2, histograms of the density and data handling lab. This part of the lab is just to start getting you more familiar with image histograms. So what we've done here is we have taken a very small resolution image of a camera. We've turned it into a 16 level image, so there's only 16 different brightness levels that can happen. And what we've done is we've taken the area inside this little red square here and essentially recreated it for you in numerical values, or its pixel values here in Excel. This file is available to you on my courses. What you're going to have to do here is, within the Excel file, is to create your frequency table. From your frequency table, you create your histogram, which you'll paste in here, and then you're going to answer some questions, and one of which is an average. What is the average pixel value? And I'll show you how to use that function as well. So let's jump over to Excel. So here in Excel, the first thing you want to do when you open up this file is to make sure that the page is scrolled to the very top, so A1 is up here. Then you're going to calculate your frequency values. So over here, we're going to use a function called COUNTIF. So it is doing a calculation for us, so we're going to start with that equal sign, so equals, COUNTIF, and a parenthesis. And you can see the usage comes up and it's looking for a range and then a criteria. So the range is going to take us from A1 down to O15. And then our criteria is we want to count all the pixel values that are equal to 0. So we're just going to click on 0 and then close our parentheses and hit an enter. And that tells us that there are 55 pixel values of the there are 55 pixels of the value 0 in this image. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is just try to drag that down, and that doesn't really look right to me, and here's why. And you can always tell something's wrong because you get this little triangle up in the corner. So let me just click on this one here for pixel value 70 and then click on it. Well, what happened? When I dragged my equation down, the criteria definitely increased because we want to look at 70, and that is Q5, but look what happened to the image. The image slid down too. Well, that's wrong because now we're missing these lines up here and counting dead space. So there is a way to fix that. I haven't shown that to you yet, so let's go back up to the value of 55, or the pixel value of 55, where we had a frequency, or the pixel value of 0, where we had a frequency of 55. And I'm going to come over here, and what I want to do is tell Excel, when I drag down, I want you to leave the range alone. Don't change it. So I sort of want to make these constants, or sticking a pin in it so it doesn't move. So to do that, I put a $sign in front of the column and a $sign in front of the row. So a $sign in front of the A and a $sign in front of the 1. Come over to the bottom, which is O15 down here, $sign in front of the O and a $sign in front of the 15, and then hit an enter. Now let me redo that. Click there, grab that handle, drag it down. And those numbers changed, didn't they? So first thing I'm going to do here is click, and let's look at a pixel value of 141. You can see that my criteria is looking for 141 and that my image has stayed stable the entire way down. That is really exciting. So I'm going to leave that alone because I'm good there. The next thing I need to do is to create a histogram. Now there's two ways to do this. There's sort of the cheater's way and then the right way. So I'm going to highlight this whole thing and show you the correct way, I guess. And the first thing I'm going to do is do insert, and I am doing a chart. I'm doing a column chart, and I'm just going to grab this first one. And I'm going to make this a little larger so you can see. And what you can see happened here is that Excel treated our first column of pixel values as though it was data, when it's actually the labels for the bottom axis. And then, so we don't want those. So we can click on pixel values and delete those out. And now we have just the frequency counts, which is our histogram. But now we have the wrong data down here. We don't want value 1, 2, 3, 4. We want 0, 24, 49. Now the way you fix that is while you have your chart active, let me move my chart down just a little bit. You can see I have the handles. I can come up here under the pull down to data and choose chart data source. In this GUI, you can see we have horizontal or category axis labels, and that's your category axis labels down here. I'm going to click this little guy here in the corner, and it shrinks up the GUI. Now I just need to drag from 0 to 255, expand it out again, and say OK, and those update. Now, you're almost done. Remember, you have to add an x-axis label and a y-axis label, and then a title. Now, I'm going to show you a second way to do it. And I don't know why this works. It just does. If I have that whole table highlighted, I can go to Insert, and instead of doing an XY label or a column chart, I'm just going to go to XY Scatter. Doesn't matter which one I pick, and choose that. And that is the wrong histogram. It's not a histogram. It's just a bunch of dots, but my axis labels are right. Now I can, while I have my chart axis, I can change my, while I have my chart active, I can change my chart type up under here, change chart type, and go to column, and I get the same thing that I had before. Now I have those labels down there without having to do the second step. I don't know why it works that way. I don't know what the bug is in Excel that does it. You can do it either way. You'll get where you need to do. You'll get where you need to be and be correct. The last thing I want to point out to you is it's asking you to calculate the mean value of the 15 by 15 image area. This is not your image area. These are not the mean pixel values. This is your image, and it's asking you to take the average of those. Now, there's a couple ways you could do that. One is just to use the function average equals average, and average the whole thing. Gives me 100. The other thing I want to point out is if I highlight all that, down here on my lower screen, you can see it tells me I have 225 pixels, my numerical count, and it tells me that my average is 100. That and that should be equal. That's all you have to do for the second part of the lab, plus answer a few questions.